Welcome to the Specialty Cropcast on Pomes and Stones. Join us for real conversations with farmers, agribusiness owners, and industry experts as we dive into farming, products, and the business of agriculture, all from the people who know it best.
All right, welcome back to the Specialty Cropcast, everybody.
Welcome back.
Episode
It's been
19.
a little break.
It has
It's
been
nice.
a little break.
It's been nice.
A good holiday season. Everyone have a good holiday?
It was nice.
Sure did, yeah.
Yeah, low key.
Yep.
Pretty low key. Good Christmas, New Year. No one got into too much trouble.
Nope.
That's good.
Managed to stay out.
Well, I don't know.
somehow.
Steve had to do a 4-day fast, so
I did. I did.
Oh, it must have been a little bit of
A
trouble.
lot
then,
of
huh?
food. A lot of food. Yep. Ending the 4-day fast
Yes. As you guys can tell.
tonight at
again,
Poppycocks.
That's right.
Ooh,
Big
yeah.
dinner.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Good things.
Me too. Breaking a fast. That's good.
That's right. As you can tell if you're watching online again, we are in a different new location again, the makeshift Nichino studios now.
This is nice.
This is much nicer than anywhere we've ever been.
Hey now.
Sorry, the Wilbur-off.
It is really nice.
This is fantastic. Thanks to Nichino for hooking us up with this room here. We are at the Northwest Michigan Orchard and Vineyard Show here, talking with some people over the next couple days to get you guys some good content as usual. So we'll start, as always, to my right. Backward hat, Steve.
Yep.
Hoodie, Zach.
No hat
I think
today,
that's the
though.
same exact sweatshirt you were wearing in the last
Probably.
episode, last
Yep.
two episodes. And our guest in studio, Tim Schrank. Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
And as always, this year in 2026, we would like to thank Nichino for being our sponsor of the show this year. Yes,
Very nice,
so in
Tim.
specialty crops, you need products that are game changers. Nichino focuses on ingenuity and hard R&D to bring you innovative chemistry that works against tough pests. But they're also customer focused. Your local Nichino rep is your expert on the ground, ready to help you and get the best results. They live for their mission, serving agriculture, protecting crops, improving lives. Find your solution today at www.nichino.net.
Nice.
So Tim is our local rep. So it's funny, we read
That's
that and I
me.
look across the table
There
and
he is.
boom, here he is. You love to see it.
He's always here though. He's
Yes,
always around.
Tim does a great job
Tim's
of
a
being
good one.
around.
Thank you. Appreciate
So
it. Yeah.
we thank you again for, obviously you're here for the show. You got a booth downstairs and a perfect opportunity to
Yeah,
get
just
you
next
in.
door to Steve. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice, dude.
Nice.
We'll be able to hang out.
Oh,
Sounds
yeah.
good.
All
yeah,
day?
I'll bug you the whole
Minute-
time.
All day. Podcast
All day.
in the morning, dinner tonight.
Yep. Full day with Tim.
So, Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself and about Nichino. That's why I think this is a good spot. We're early in the year. We can learn about our new sponsor. Give us the lowdown.
Of course, yeah. My name's Tim Schrank. I'm the technical sales representative for Nichino America. I cover the territory of what we call the Great Lakes region. That encompasses Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota. And I also branch out a little bit into other states in the Midwest where there are pockets of specialty crop production. So
How long have you been there, Tim?
I've been with Nichino a little bit over 3 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
how long has the Nichino brand been around?
I believe 23, 24 years. Okay. Yeah. At least here in the U.S., our parent company is Nihon Noyaku, which is coming up, I believe, on 100 years.
Can you say
Say,
that again?
say that 2 times fast.
Yeah, right. I can't say my pronunciation is on point, but
Yeah.
do
yeah,
the
it's
best you
the
can.
oldest. It's the oldest chemical company in Japan, and I believe the
Nice.
translation is basically just Japan Agrochemical Company. So
Okay.
yeah,
Maybe lead with that next time.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Oh, no, that's all good. So what does a technical sales rep do on a day-to-day basis? What does your job look like a majority of the time?
That's a great question, mostly because I don't think any day looks similar to the one before it. We wear a lot of different hats in this role. Like I said, no 2 days are ever really the same, but it ranges from traveling around and going to see local retailers and distribution locations with companies that we work with or ones that we hope to work with. It consists of crop scouting with consultants and sales agronomists in season, attending field days with growers or continuing education and viewing research presentations. I get a lot of windshield time driving to and from all of these things. But yeah, I regularly field calls from people all over the country that are looking for information on either pricing or best use recommendations for our products. But yeah, I get a lot of firsthand, boots on the ground experience working with growers and researchers and agronomists alike. But my main responsibility is really just to educate people on how our products work and stewarding them throughout the year.
So how do you get into agriculture? I'm not sure if this question was on there, but give us a little bit of your background on how you how you go.
It's a bit unique. I actually grew up in a suburb. I always joke and say I went to school that was surrounded by on three sides by cornfields or soybeans, and I didn't know a single farmer growing up. But my first role in agriculture wasn't until I was about 18 years old. I was an intern on a hops farm in Southwest Michigan. I was just kind of looking for a summer gig, and we had sort of a hobby farm in Southwest Michigan since I was probably in middle school. So I'd been coming up to Michigan for years with my family. But we had about an acre of blueberries, and in the wintertime, we liked kind of doing like a home brew at home. My dad and I, we'd make some beer in the basement, and so we actually ended up putting in a hop trellis with like 45-ish plants, and we had an expert come out from a local farm at Hophead Farm, and just got to talking with the guy. And he's like, yeah, we're always looking for young guys that are willing to come out and work on the farm. And my dad said, I got 2 sons over here, put them to work. So that was actually my first role, and I just fell in love with it. That was my first real job, I'd say, full-time. I'd done a lot of part-time stuff, mowing grass at the golf course, things like that. But that was my first full-time job. I fell in love with it. It was the most hands-on experience I'd had up to that point, whether that be planting, fixing irrigation, working on equipment, driving tractors, just things like that I just was hooked immediately. So basically from that point on, I told myself every job I'm going to have is going to be in ag to some extent. So the summer after that, I worked at a blueberry farm. And the thing I loved about it at that point was I was a cross-country runner and college student. So during the school year, I was tired enough to where I didn't want to work on top of doing all of that and, living life as a college kid. So I was there racking up as many hours as I could in the summer. And on a farm, there's always something you can do. So,
Always.
I mean, whether that's fixing something, sweeping, it's the little stuff. So I did that and worked as many hours as I could at that blueberry farm. Just to save up money for the school year so I didn't have to work. But I worked a ton of different roles in ag. That's just where I started, working on specialty farms. After working on the blueberry farm, I remember one day someone came up to me and was kind of giving me the rundown on plant morphology and was like, this is the stamen, this is the this and that, and all the different parts of the flower. And I was like, I want to know more about this stuff. I don't want to have to learn this from this guy who's, I want to do this in a classroom setting. So I ended up transferring to Michigan State to study crop and soil science, agronomy. And there I discovered the whole world of research ag and public research. I got hooked up with one of the advisors there, and I said, I'm looking for a job on campus that keeps me involved. And they said, well, let me tell you about the agronomy farm. And I started working there. I worked for the wheat breeding program, just threshing wheat, going through samples, just basic farm labor stuff for them, processing all of their different plots. And before you know it, we kind of, things slow down, you run out of work. And I found myself in another program, soil fertility. Started working in the dry breeding program. Basically, whoever needed help around the farm,
You were there.
I just kind of bounced around programs doing that. So that really opened my eyes to all the different options that are out there. Whether you are a technician on the farm, a plant breeder, you name it. So yeah, it was kind of a neat journey. I always get people to say, "Oh, you grew up in what suburb? Naperville? How'd you end up in ag? Did you fall and hit your head?"
So obviously, a lot of that background. How does that, with that vast of an agricultural background, even though you're not necessarily a generational family farmer, how does that shape how you work with the growers? You bring that experience.
Yeah, that's a great way. That's a great question. Jack of all trades, master of none. But Yeah, I think at least with this role in particular, we pride ourselves on being the experts in our products. So that's kind of given me a niche to really focus in on our products and how they work. That's kind of my role, is really educating people specifically about our products' best use recommendations. So I guess that's kind of where I fit in relations with the growers. I don't want to come in and act like I'm the agronomist that knows everything, but I sure know what our stuff like the back of my hand.
So for growers who are not familiar, who is Nichino?
Yeah,
Or
so
Nichino and Nichino America?
Nichino America we're an R&D company, which means we're research and development, which means we're focused on bringing targeted crop protection products to the specialty crop space. I'd say that we're looking at products that hit closer to home for specialty commodities. Things like export tolerances, residue limits, or specific pests that maybe you deal with in tree fruit that row crop guys aren't dealing with. I mean, when you think about apples in Michigan, we've got a whole long list of pests that you're worried about throughout the season, and we try to bring targeted solutions for those. So I kind of joke and say we're not looking to be the most popular kid in school. We don't want a product for everything under the sun, but more like a good friend that shares those same niche hobbies as you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you guys are trying to focus on a couple of them, a couple of pests, and really, hammer down on some and really give growers some solutions. Just quickly, can you give me one or two products that you guys carry that you like for certain issues that we would face here in
Yeah,
Michigan?
sure. So some of the most recognizable brand names or two products that have been around for a while. Portal miticide would be one. It's sort of it's a fast knockdown material. I've seen a lot of portal in people's sheds over the my few years here. It's kind of a staple, that fallback when things kind of hit the fan, So there's one, and another one would be Centaur. It's an insect growth regulator for scale. So here in Michigan, it would be San Jose scale, but in other parts of the country, they're going after mealybugs and a whole list of armored pests.
Gotcha. Beautiful. Nichino talks a lot about innovation and research and development. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so we had kind of talked about I just kind of touched on this before. It's really just targeted solutions, and you said emphasizing innovation and R&D. So I mean, it's continuing to develop products, and continuing to work on formulations, and finding container sizes that fit your operations needs. If you've only got a 10-acre block, maybe we have a quart size that deals with 5 acres or 10 acres, just so that you only need to dump in one or two of what we're carrying. So that means, again, I think I'd say the two things would be continuing to develop formulations, continuous improvement. We don't just put a product out there and then say, okay, it's good.
Yeah.
Dude,
the R&D world
that
is
feedback.
super important in ag, right? And in any industry, but like we've all been using a lot of the same chemistries for a really long time.
I
So
think
to
it's
have new,
more important right now
Yeah.
to continue that, because we're running out of.
Gaining resistance.
There's nothing new. We're
Yeah.
running out of pipeline stuff here.
yeah, yep, we got to have it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't rely on the same things forever. You got to have companies that are continuing to try and be on the cutting edge and
Yep.
bringing new solutions to the market, and that's what we do. So
Yep. Oh,
So-
that's great to know that
so what-
Nichino's doing that.
Yeah. And so what we're kind of gathering here, if you haven't picked up on the underlying thing, is that Nichino's pretty much primarily only focused on specialty crops.
Yeah.
All these other, these other
Right.
companies that make this stuff, like Nikki talked about a couple episodes ago through the IR4 program, is there's other chemistries that then they're finding uses for in the other markets, and there isn't really many companies out there that are focused directly on us. So it's kind of refreshing to know that there's someone out there looking out for the specialty
Right.
guys.
What
Right.
made you guys want to focus so heavily on the specialty crop compared to the row crop side of things?
yeah, I think there's a couple factors that play into that. I would say one is not having to chase down every acre of farmland in the U.S. When you look at the scale of things, I mean, there's millions of acres of corn and beans and row crops across the country. and not that there isn't millions of acres of specialty too, but it's a much smaller number. When you start breaking it down by region in the country, you know, it's more of like hundreds or tens of thousands that we're looking at here. So one, it's a manpower thing. Two, I think it keeps us focused in terms of the folks that we're bringing on, but it's also just where our chemistries have the best fit, you know. It's what pest spectrum they're picking up or what disease we've found. Okay, these are the diseases it works on. It makes sense to be focusing on X crop, Y crop, you know. But I think of it like it's kind of like track when you're running a race. There's some of those sprint events. You stay in your lane the whole time. You're not crossing paths with some of these larger companies. You get to run your own race. So that's kind of how I see it.
Nice.
So what sets Nichino apart from some of the other companies? What do you offer growers that other companies might not?
Well, to start, our chemistries are proprietary. So we're just now kind of getting into the post-patent space, meaning some of our stuff's coming off of patent and is now available to other companies. But they're our own chemicals. So we're getting those from Nihon Noyaku, and no one else can sell those. So they are unique. I mean, that's one thing I'd say. What else do we have that makes us
Talk about venue. You guys have a pretty special,
PF
you guys have a pretty special compound that. Go ahead. I don't want to steal your guys' thunder.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah. So venue previously is now Venue Max. That's our herbicide. It's a group 14. We view it as sort of a defoliant. You know, killing broadleaf weeds in the orchard space or kind of burning down foliage that's out there. You had kind of mentioned, I think you were saying, because it's unique, I don't think there's many other companies that can, you know, it's off patent now, but they can't get that to be a stable formulation for us, you know, for them. So I guess that's a point that, you know, something that we can do that maybe others can't.
So far.
Yeah, if you haven't tried Venue, I highly suggest it. It works well.
It
I
does,
appreciate it,
especially
yeah.
when it is paired. Don't
It's one of
expect
my-
it to be a winner on its own. You got to pair it with a Roundup but you know,
You
nobody
can-
likes
you-
Roundup anymore.
No.
But a good glufosinate would.
Rely.
That's
I
what I
love
paired
that
it with
techniques.
on my farm, and I did a video on it actually on YouTube and showed what did I do? 48 hours post application, 7 days, 28 days, and then I went back like 58 days to where we shot the video, and it's clear.
You can still
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, the burn down was fantastic. We had suckers growing up on the Honeycrisp, and it took, I mean, everything that it touched, right? It's a burn down. So if there were suckers that were too high and pretty well established, it's not gonna take them all the way down due to the nature of the chemistry. But
just as a contact material, that's just typically how it works. It can be used as a standalone. You just got to have the conditions just right.
right,
You know,
right weed size.
Yeah, and if you're not using the right adjuvants with it, you know, you're going to go out there and say, Tim, what were you talking about? But no,
What is the best adjuvant then in your mind?
when it comes to Venue, I like an MSO that helps
Okay.
with penetrating into the leaf. P-ethyl on its own doesn't do a very good job of getting into the plant, but when you pair it with an MSO or a COC, which is a methylated seed oil or a crop oil concentrate, it's night and day difference.
What about water pH to affect performance?
Yeah, great question. So, like some other herbicides that are out there, Venue Max is a weak acid herbicide. So it does benefit you to have something in the tank to kind of bring down that pH.
Which you would know because most of us as farmers, you get your wells tested, you kind of know exactly what your
Right,
pH is
right.
already, and if you have a problem that you're swinging too high
Yeah.
or in either direction, you're already making amendments to your water.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing that. I mean, you got to be knowing what you're putting in the tank, and sometimes you come across folks that aren't testing their water beforehand, and they do have a lot of calcium or something in there, and that can tide up
Quickly.
any product that's in there really quickly, and then you get people calling and say, "Well, that didn't work." And you're
Right.
like, well,
Let's take a
we
take
know
a
it
deep-
works.
Let's open up
look
the
at
hood
this.
here and let's
Yeah.
look at it.
Should always have a pallet of
Let's look under the hood.
AMS laying around, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, especially if you're
Get rid of
using glufosinate with it, that helps to
Yep.
help tie up some of those things that are in the tank mix. You call it
Is the
background
Venue
noise.
something you could run on younger trees?
Yeah, also a great question. That is something that it's a really versatile product. Since it's not systemic, you can use it in those nurseries or in young trees. Yeah.
Which is exactly where we used it.
We've
It
got
was in our new Honeycrisp
7,000
orchard.
trees to plant this spring, so
Yep.
it'll be something we might be looking at.
So Venue Max has a new lower use rate. What would that be?
Yeah, it's just under 2. We're rocking 1.9 for that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just
Because
make sure you follow
regular
the
venue
label,
is what?
Venue used to be 3 to 4 ounces.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
So what are some of the biggest challenges you're seeing across your vast region of specialty growers or for specialty growers right now across any crop? Because you not just
Yeah.
apples, cherries, and here in Michigan, you do a lot more. You're
That's
big
right. Yeah.
Tater Tim. Tell us a little bit about Tater Tim, alter ego.
Oh, that's an alter ego of mine. It's a broad question. I say I work with so many different crops. I mean, probably 25 plus. But each commodity has its own struggles right now. I mean, if you want to talk about taters, you can talk about the price in the open market. Things are down; they're not as great as they used to be. I was just down in Savannah, and those guys down there in Georgia. I was at the Southeast Fruit and Veg Trade Show, and they're talking about cotton and peanuts, and the price of cotton is way down right now. And they're still trying to sort out who's going to be able to farm next year. So each crop kind of has its own challenges. I mean, corn prices are down. I've heard you guys talk about it on this show that cherry growers we have less and less processors than we ever used to have, and that can be really tough on logistics towards the end of the season if you're asking guys to keep fruit on the trees longer than maybe they're comfortable with, or yeah, I mean, export markets are tough too. I mean, we've had a whole bunch of confusion going on with the tariffs. Things are a little bit more expensive for cost of goods for some of us.
Yep.
You name it. I mean, labor is another big one, especially in specialty crops. I mean, I think this is the first. This is the first year in several years where we've not gone up in terms of how much it costs to have guys on the farm.
Yeah, the contracted labor.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of things right now. But I've been surprised. I've been traveling around the U.S. I was just down at the trade show in Dallas too, the National Potato Expo, and there's still a lot of optimism. That's one thing I'm seeing at all the shows across the board is despite all of these mounting uncertainties and it sounds like a lot of negativity out in the news, growers are still relatively optimistic. That's one thing about specialty that I really love is guys, especially if you've got apples and cherries, your trees are still going to be here next year. You're still going to be farming. So
Right. Still got to take care of them.
What you deal with so many crops? Who would you say is doing the best? Growing well?
Oh boy, we might ruffle some feathers here.
yeah, I don't want to start.
Who's
any fights
making
here.
money?
Who's making the most?
No comment there.
Let me rephrase. If you were to plant a crop, what would you plant?
Ooh.
That's okay. Yeah, I like that. I mean, you joked about it earlier as Tater Tim. I think I'd be going into potatoes.
You like tater tots?
I do.
Me too,
I like chips. I like tater tots, French fries.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
Potatoes is where it's at. Got
Yes,
it,
sir.
Tim.
Yep. Tater Tim. Got it, Tater Tim. That's Tater Tim to you, Steve.
Yeah, sorry.
Torak Tim, Tater Tim. I'll take it.
What crops out there do you see the biggest challenges in right now?
That's a good question. I'm probably gonna go with tree fruit. I think cherries. You guys are tough. Every time I hear about West Michigan, one of my favorite stories to tell is I believe it was last year in June. You guys had like 27 wedding events or something. You got to put a spray on before, and sometimes you got to come back right after. I mean, I can't imagine those sprayers stopped moving. That's tough.
Just when it was raining.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that's a challenge, keeping up with some of these diseases. I mean, it was like cherry leaf spot was just devastating that year. And that's tough to see. I mean, I don't see a lot of things to that scale. I guess occasionally over in Wisconsin, Minnesota, I'll see Colorado potato beetles get really out of hand, or thrips maybe in onions here in Michigan a little bit. Those are some tough challenges, some tough pests. But But yeah, I mean, whenever you see something with a pressure that high, it's always astounding.
Yeah.
And I think in specialty, you can kind of find that in a lot of different places, whether that be insects or disease. But especially here in Michigan, disease is one that's always kind of sneaking up on us. I mean, there's always dew on our plants. There's always another lake effect rain shower coming on. So,
And right, and then you're battling leaf spot in the spring, but you also know, like, shoot, SWD's coming. When there's this much rainfall, right, the population just gets out of control so fast.
And it continues. It's like leaf spot.
Yep.
Once you get it, which you're going to get it, everyone gets it eventually.
Yep.
But it just continues. It just follows you all year long. Just like SWD, if you don't get on top of it, it's going to just keep following you. And then harvest hits and you lose a whole farm because you can't control it once it gets that bad, which is very difficult to deal with.
Are you guys working on any development for a chemical for SWD to help us out?
yeah, so we do have a couple now. I take that back. We have one right now that does suppress SWD. We like to be, how do I put this? We like to be cautious about how we label our products. So the product would be tolfemparad, Torac, or Apta in tree fruit. Does kill spotted winged Drosophila, but it's such a tough pest, as you guys know. I mean, with a contact material, you really got to get good coverage out there to kill that insect. But yeah, we do have one now on the market. It does suppress and knock down SWD. It also picks up quite a few other pests. I know pumpkin curlio can be an issue in apples and cherries. So that would be an option there.
Another tool in the toolbox, which are too few for SWD.
Yep.
So that's encouraging news. So how does Nichino support growers beyond just selling the product? Obviously, you touched on earlier about how you're going to the trade shows. You're up here multiple times a year, and if we wanted you to come up and look at something, you would be more than happy to drive. I mean, not even just us, but probably any of your customers in your statewide, a couple state region, you would show up in a heartbeat.
Of course. I mean, that's one thing is when you call, I'll answer, every time. And if not, I will be getting back to you. But yeah, I will hop in the truck and drive 10 hours if need be. But other things that we're doing, I mean, we have pest updates in other parts of the country that are dialed in on letting people know where things are at in the field. I know you had kind of talked about that with Nikki and some of her on that episode, Nikki Rothwell, and some of those pest updates that Michigan State does. We do something comparable in other parts of the country. We also have down south, we call it Peanut RX. It's sort of our fungicide program builder, kind of helps you plug and play, figure out maybe what materials you're going to be using that season. And then we try each year to continue to find new uses or best use recommendations. That's kind of goes into that continuing R&D, getting things better each year. We do that. So I often am trying to find places where I can fine tune our products, whether that be, in your backyard, on your farms, or with contract research organizations or university.
Well, I think a lot of that probably comes with communicating with the farmer and having those conversations and asking, well, if my product's no good, what's wrong with it? Does it not work?
Right.
Is the price too
just
high?
Conditions?
Is there a poor condition? Is there just not a place for it sometimes? Or there's so many variables that kind of go into, I would imagine, kind of just fine-tuning stuff, or like where can you make improvements, and that comes down to having honest conversations with your customers.
It does. I mean,
and taking bad news.
Yeah, you got to know how to take bad news as a salesman,
right?
And how to say when people say no, you have to learn to do accept rejection there. But when someone tells me, I give them some material and I try to walk them through how we're going to use it, and then they send me a text or something and just say it didn't work or it don't work, I want to come back out and talk to you about why you think it didn't work, because obviously if we've been selling it for 20 years and it moves in truckloads across the country, there's something to it. So
water conditioning.
We are here
something.
for you. We're here for you to try new things. And if you think maybe it didn't work for you, let's go over that, because that's what I'm here for. We're here to support the growers, not just push a product on you. That's one thing I love about the freedom of this role is to be able to be that support for you. It is a consultative approach. I like to be more of an educator rather than viewing myself as a quote unquote salesman, So
Yeah. I wanted to touch on Centaur a little bit. Could you just give kind of like how would you fit it into a sweet cherry program for San Jose scale? What products would you like with it?
I'm not super familiar with sweet cherries. I've done a lot of work in apples with it.
Okay.
But it is an early in the season play. It is sort of a green tip to pink. If you're talking about apples, there's a couple different timings you can kind of go after, and following growing degree days and targeting crawlers. But it's something that you want to put on early in the season. It's an insect growth regulator. It blocks chitin biosynthesis within an insect. So it's not something that you spray and then you just watch them drop. It takes time. It keeps them from molting.
Yep.
So you really get one shot with it early
Do
in the
you
season.
like oil or anything with it, or what's
So some folks
for spreader
do.
or super spreader? What do you like?
So with scale, I don't think it's absolutely necessary to have oil with it. I think it does a really good job on its own.
Okay.
It has a really nice residual out in the field, lasts 2 to 3 weeks, and also has some kind of cool properties where it gases off and moves throughout the canopy and comes in contact with the insect that way. But yeah, up in the Pacific Northwest, I know I do see guys, if they're going after Persilla, that is something where you can put oil with Centaur. I got a whole presentation I could share with you
Sweet.
if you want
Yeah,
to
would
learn
love to
more
see
about
it.
that. But yeah, coverage is key. You got to use a lot of water with it and make sure you're really covering that whole tree. But yeah, early in the season and targeting them at the insect at the right growth stage is really important with Centaur.
Nice.
How should growers be thinking about crop protection strategy today versus 10 years ago?
Well, as someone who's worked in the industry about 10 years and is young, I can't say I know too much about what it was like then. But today, I think it's important to embrace new technologies when they come out. Understanding how your products are really working in the field, whether that be a biological or conventional chemistry, ensuring that you rotate. Maybe it's not the cheapest option sometimes to go with something new or a different mode of action, but I think it's important to do those kinds of things to avoid resistance and build.
I wanted to build off that too. Is like the new products, yeah, they're expensive, but you usually see a return because they work.
Right, that ROI
and nobody
is
else has done it yet. So
Sometimes it's a 700-gallon jug,
Yeah.
but you only need a couple ounces of it. Instead of putting something, you get a pallet of a 30-pound bags, and you're like, I feel like I'm this better because it's the big bags are cheaper.
But they usually end up in a return, for sure.
And if it's a new formulation, new chemistry, new mode of action,
Yep.
you're definitely benefiting from that, from
Yeah.
something new. It's always new is always better for the most part, as long as it still works like it should.
We like to think so.
Yeah.
How important is timing and application strategy compared to the product choice?
Application strategy is just broad on its own.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot to that.
I mean, everything's got to be used in a particular way. I think just understanding what you're putting out in the fields is step one. I mean, it's a very broad question. It just depends on what you're going after, really.
Timing,
Timing is obviously important.
water condition, everything. Humidity.
Environmental conditions.
Did we
yeah.
say it at the
Same
time?
time.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Oh, what trends are you watching closely in specialty crop protection? Is it more of people, I guess we kind of alluded to it earlier, is less maybe buying expensive things because a lot of stuff now is coming off of patent and moving toward generics, which can have its own difficulties, I guess, at the same time. But sometimes when things are tough, it's easy to kind of gravitate toward, something that's cheaper instead of something that's a little more tried and trusted.
That's a good question. I keep saying that because you're just prepared. I love it. You really get the wheels turning. trends that I see in specialty crop production, I think you kind of started off on that foot. I've come across folks that are plugging and playing between those generic products and branded. I think there's value to both approaches, whether that be price or availability or a unique mode of action. That's a tough one, but I think being able to have those options is important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's see. How does Nichino approach long-term solutions rather than short-term fixes?
of course, I would say it starts at the beginning of a product. You know, it's when we're creating the labels for them, we're trying to steward them in a way. So I kind of alluded to it, especially with like Centaur. You only get one application. You know, we don't want guys going out there and just throwing it willy-nilly. So I think that's one way that we start. It's ensuring that people are one, following the label, and two, you know, we've said it several times already, but rotating. Those are two things that help the longevity of products, whether that be our own or others. You know, we want to keep all the tools in your tool belt. We don't want to see those go away.
Right.
We don't want to see efficacy start to slip on anything.
Right.
But yeah, we also try to, with some of our products, have them be more targeted. I think that's more sustainable. You know, we don't want them to be too broad spectrum where we're taking out all the good beneficials or pollinators in the field. So continuing to create products that focus on taking out the bad guys and not the good guys at the same time.
Awesome. So I guess let's switch gears a little bit and talk about why Nichino supports conversations like this, because obviously we've mentioned that we are signed up here with Nichino for 2026. They love this podcast. They love conversations that we've had so far. Tim's been instrumental in getting all of this set up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Being our guy in between corporate and the farmer, as always. So why does Nichino choose to support platforms like podcasts or other, I guess, social media accounts that also can positively put a spin on agriculture?
I mean, let's back up a little bit. I mean, how I found you guys was I'm always looking for content that keeps me informed and up to date with what's going on in the industry. And I think that's something that our company also does, is we always want to know what's going on with guys and how we can fine tune what we're doing. So when I saw that you were bringing on guests of all kinds on here and talking about different resources or challenges that people are facing in the specialty industry, you know, specialty crop industry, I mean, that just really got me going. And it's kind of fun. I mean, it's like every episode you guys have put out, I'm like, oh, I know that person. Oh, I know that person too. They're great. It's awesome to watch you guys get, you know, extension, growers of all kinds. I mean, I think it's going to be great to see where this could go. And I want to be a part of that. So if we can help propel you guys to new levels, I mean, that's what we're about at Nichino, is supporting those people that we see are making a positive change in the industry. And I think you guys are filling in a gap. I don't see a lot of podcasts for specialty out there, if any. I mean,
Right.
you see plenty of ones talking about row crops or other crops that are out there, but I think the approach that you guys have is a special one, and
The specialty crop.
Well,
pun not intended, but I'll take it.
it's nice that we learn from it too, right? Yeah. You know, the guests we have on, we're always learning, and that's our goal, is to just help people learn by listening. So if you're not learning something,
You got to stay learning.
yep.
That's right. You have to feed this.
Got to keep moving.
You
Yeah.
have to feed that.
Just don't be leering.
It spices up the day-to-day work, right? I mean,
Yeah.
'Cause,
when I'm in the
you know,
sprayer
you
or doing
start-
something, I'm listening. to
right, how long
podcasts.
have you been at Cherokee? And it's just
I
like,
started 2009.
yeah. So,
Yes, every time we take a long break and we come back, and it's like we set the cameras up and
I know.
I'm like, oh, I forgot how fun this is.
it really is fun.
It is. It's like we sit down, we chat. It is super fun, especially because like you said, we're always trying to learn something, and we're not sitting up here putting ourselves out there like we're experts, and we're not making recommendations that you should be doing this. We just share what we're doing, and maybe if you're listening and there's something different that you think could solve an issue that we talk about, put it in the comments, and we could talk about it or discuss it, or we could even call you in and you can give us your opinion on it. So it's a super cool opportunity, like you said, that I think there's a gap in what other people are doing and the link between the specialty crop and in that world, and we're here for it. And we're glad that Nichino's willing to support us for the future for that. So what does a good grower/Nichino relationship look like to you?
What does a good relationship look like? It looks like, to me, it's continuing to let me come out and see what's going on your farms, even if, maybe it's a year you're not using any of our products. I like to get out and see what guys are seeing in the field. And if, like I said, I work with so many crops. So having someone that I can call that works with tart cherries, having someone that I can call that works with apples and say, hey, I just need to get out in the field, see how things are staging, what the conditions are like, or just being able to call you and you say, yeah, last week we had hail and it covered this part of the state or this county. Having someone that I will pick up the phone is a lot of value to me. A lot of times as a salesman, I feel like when you call someone, they're like, oh, what are you trying to sell me today? And it's like, no, not every conversation is about that. I'm really just, I genuinely care what's going on, and it helps me to have somebody in the know in that area. So that's the beauty of this job, is getting out and meeting all these people from all over the country that work with a variety of different crops. And that's what a good relationship to me looks like. And knowing that, you guys as growers, that when you call and something's going on in the field and maybe you don't know what it is, or maybe something seemed to go awry with an application, I am there for you. It's not just I'm going to write a check and never follow up with you or just call you back. It's like, no, I'll hop in the truck right now and come out and do plant sampling or scout with you or whatever it takes to figure out what's going on. And that's a lesson that I learned from folks before me, that you got to be there for people when they need you, and that's what really makes the difference between a good and a not so good rep.
Right. I completely agree. I think we should wrap up with some rapid fire questions for Tim. Get to know Tim a little bit.
Rapid fire questions.
Don't need long responses. Just give
Okay.
us the first thing that comes to mind. Favorite crop to work with?
Oh, I don't want to be biased
Well, he
here,
said
but
he
I
wasn't
guess
gonna answer
I
that
guess the
question.
nickname
Yeah.
is Tater
To work
Tim.
with.
So
Steve asked, what was this? What was your question? What was the most? What made what?
Yeah,
makes the
who's
most
making money right now?
It's a different question. He
guys trying to get
Well,
me
you
in
got some
trouble
open
here.
land.
I'm going to get some phone calls after this.
One
I
thing,
guess the nickname is Tater Tim.
Tater
So I do
Tim.
really enjoy
Yeah.
working with potatoes, but man, are they hard to walk through at times. I do prefer walking through an orchard of apples rather than traipsing through a hilled potato field.
What's one thing growers should start doing this season?
Oof.
Using Nichino
Yeah, using
products?
Nichino products. Yeah, plug.
I'll answer it for you. Got to get the plug.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, answered for me.
I do want to talk more about Centaur after, though. I want to
Okay,
use
yeah,
it.
let's do that.
You
Sweet
could stop
cherries.
by the Nichino booth today at the
You can stop by the
Northwest
Nichino
Orchard and
booth.
Vineyard Show.
I'm here at the
Walk right
Northwest.
over.
That's
I
right.
know.
Yeah, I'll be next door.
I want to use it.
I'll be
Sweet
traveling
cherries and
across the
apples.
Midwest. I'll be at plenty of different trade shows. I'll be in Wisconsin in a couple of weeks if you want to talk to me there.
Yep.
You can talk to me this week. I'm in Traverse City, so and my number's online, so you can find me. You can find my number and give me a ring if you need to.
All right, one final question. What's one message you want specialty crop growers to remember about Nichino?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd kind of go back to our mission statement. We're here to serve agriculture, protect crops, and improve lives. So, I think the improve lives piece is what really stands out to me. We are a company that cares about people first, and that's what I'd say. We're here to serve you, protect your crops, and improve your life, whether that be as just a friend and someone you can approach at the trade show and know that we'll have a great conversation, or if you are looking for something, for a pest or disease on your farm, we're here for that too. So.
Awesome.
Nice.
How about put this one before the best piece of advice you've gotten in agriculture?
Best piece of advice in agriculture, don't give up. You get a lot of people who say no or not interested, but you got to just keep going and don't take no for an answer, at least in the long haul. Don't be annoying about it, calling back every week saying, hey, I want to talk to you about XYZ product, but just keep going. Keep showing up at those trade shows, keep going to the grower meetings, be present. So I guess being present would be really a better way to put that.
Put your head down.
Yeah.
Move forward.
Just don't, I get some folks are saying, oh, well, that show went downhill. I'm not going this year. And I say, well, I'm going.
Yeah.
And you should too, because, if everyone keeps saying, oh, that show's going downhill, then less and less people are going to want to go. So I say optimistic and be present.
Awesome. So I think we're perfect timing. We all have educational classes to attend. And
got to run
booths
down to my
look at.
booth. Yeah.
That's right. So obviously we want to thank Tim for coming in and taking the time. We
yeah,
came in
thank
early
you.
today.
Thank
We
you
finally had
guys
a
for
morning
having me on.
podcast.
Yeah, I really
I
appreciate
know.
you having me here.
This has been great. Obviously, we're super excited to have Nichino on board to really help us reach other growers, right? Because one thing that we talked about with us is that with our second year, I guess we haven't completed the first year yet, but our goal for 2026 was to kind of expand a little more away from just apples and cherries, which is what we can pretty much get our hands on as far as growers and experience in this region. And so what's great is you service so many other specialty crops across the country.
Yeah.
And so a great advantage of working with you guys for us is that you're going to help us get our hands on some guests in different crops so that we can learn something new. And also hopefully the listeners can enjoy some different type of content than what we provide all of the time. So thank you again, Tim, for coming in, and for Nichino for sponsoring the show and this episode. They back every product with a customer-focused expert who knows your field and is ready to help, like Tim, our regional rep. As always, this podcast is available on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, TikTok now. We have a TikTok page. You can come see the clips. We post all the clips there. So you guys can click on any of those links I'll have down below. I'll put Nichino's information in there as well.
Much appreciated.
And this has been a great episode. I think it was episode 19. So again, thanks everybody for coming in. And
Thanks, guys.
we'll catch
Thank
everybody
you.
in the
Yeah,
next
thanks for
episode.
having me again.